Of the bench at Lafayette Township School. My name is Barbara Morgan. I now teach first grade. I had the boys in kindergarten. This is Janet Finnegan. Right now she's teaching second grade. Tracy Allen, our BSI teacher. Bethany Sanders, upper grade reading. Alan Perry, retired. And Ann LaJeunesse, first grade teacher, to be our second grade teacher. And I'll hand the mic over to Janet.
Mark Corey and Jeremy Ramirez, former Lafayette students of the class of 2003, were tragically taken away from us last fall in two separate motorcycle accidents. They were best friends who could not be separated in life as well as in death. If you mentioned Mark's name, Jeremy's name was usually mentioned in the same breath. They were quite a duo.
For those of us at Lafayette School who knew and loved these two boys, this bench is a labor of love. We watched Mark and Jeremy grow from frisky kindergartners to first graders, where Mrs. LaJeunesse promptly realized that they could never be in the same class together again, to young teens looking forward to high school. This particular site was chosen because they spent many hours of fun on this playground. They also spent many hours on the wall serving their time. The two trees planted in the back of the bench are different, yet complement each other, as Mark and Jeremy did. Our hope is that this friendship bench will remain a simple site for quiet reflection for anyone who knew and loved these young men.
I'd like to read a poem today that Jamie wrote, which expresses her feelings for her brother. When I look above the sky, I see your glittering eyes. But I think, why'd you go? Why'd you go so high? And why did you leave without a goodbye? But life goes on. The sorrow and grief still remains. My heart still in pieces through all the tears I fought. When people say you're gone, you're really not. You're close in my heart forever, until I fill my spot up in heaven next to you.
This poem is written anonymously, but it's entitled My Best Friend. I'm not sure when it happened, but I'm very glad it did. You came into my life when I really needed a friend. The more I get to know you, the more I know myself. And this is why I'm thankful, for you are just yourself. You and I are different, but in many ways the same. Your good ear and tender heart will always find you fame. I promise to always be here forever and to the end. You are the true definition of my very best friend.
This friendship bench involved the time and effort of a lot of people, and we'd like to thank the following for their help in making this idea a reality. Lester Sutton for bench site preparation and the beautiful stonework, which was his labor of love. Bill Macko and the Lafayette Department of Public Works for the bench site preparation. Tim and Charlie Schottmeyer of Beaver Run Farms for donating sand for the bench site. Brian Finnegan and Bill Earhart, who planted the trees. The Lafayette Athletic Association, which gave a very generous monetary donation along with giving us time and space during their March basketball tournament for the fundraising. We are very appreciative of the generosity of the Sussex County elementary basketball community. Nancy Bookbinder at Wolf Granite in Sussex, whose advice and compassion was greatly appreciated. We thank you all for coming. I don't know if anybody has anything that they would like to say.
I just have one thing to say, and I'm sure Dee does too.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. this bench is a beautiful memorial for these boys, a way to remember them, a way to remember what they've learned here from each and every one of you, the teachers that were here, that taught them, the community that they grew up in. You guys, you people, really formed these children. You nurtured these boys to be what they were, and you know we have to thank all of you for that as well, not just our family. I thank you all for coming today, really. Thanks. No.
Speechless, right? Can you believe it?
I can't believe Tony.
You know, it's funny because we were told that they could never be in the same class together after kindergarten, and Denise and I were like, why? We don't get it. And the two boys used to drive us crazy, but if they weren't together, it was even worse, I think. And I know that they're together, and I'm sorry that Denise is feeling the same pain. But we'll get through this, and for Sam and Jamie for
Maggie.
all of them for losing their brother, and
their son.
And Everett's son and David's son, and it's just, you know, we are lucky, and this is a place we're so blessed to have all of you. We really are, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm Mark's aunt. I just have to say there's dragonflies that are swarming around here. And I don't know how many of you were at the funeral that heard the story about the dragonfly and how it is, the larva is born in the bottom of a pond or a stream, and it that's where it lives. And all of a sudden, they noticed that as they were living there, that the larva would all of a sudden climb up a lily stem, and they'd disappear. And the larva couldn't figure out why all their friends were going and not coming back. So one of them said, you know, we got to figure this out. Who's going to do it? And they said, well, the next one that goes up the stalk will make a pact that they will come back as soon as, you know, they find out what's going on up there. So the next one had this urge and had to go up that stalk. And when it went up that stalk, when it got to the top, it was transformed. It was transformed from this little worm of larva into this beautiful, beautiful dragonfly with 4 wings and just could fly all around. And boy, the sunshine was so bright and everything was just so light and bright. And that dragonfly would swim all around and fly all around. Fly all around. And one day that dragonfly looked down and saw that lily pad and thought, oh my gosh, I promised them that I'd go back and tell them. And look at this bright, wonderful world up here that I got to go tell them about. Well, that dragonfly flew down and tried to get into that water. But every time that dragonfly tried to get into the water, it realized after a while that there was no way it could get back into the water because it had transformed into something else. And it's a story to remember that that's what heaven is like. We all are here, we transform, and then we get to that bright, wonderful place of heaven. And that's where Mark and Jeremy are. And I just wanted to let you all know that story again in case you did hear it, because they're flying all around right now. And those dragonflies are a sign that they are with us here as well. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Let's get a picture of Tony and Sam.
Sure. This one.